even within the Elohim name, there is 1/1000th of the aspect of the Yud-Heh-Vav-Heh name, of the godly soul, of the two selves, of the godly self. And that means that even within non-Jews, there is 1/1000th, 1 grain of the Jewish specific God of Yud-Heh-Vav-Heh. And how do we find this? We find this in Vayikra, in Leviticus, when we start off and it says Vayikra with a small aleph, it's spelt in the Torah. And so they bring this down that this small aleph is 1, as opposed to a large aleph, which is 1,000. And there were 1,000 parts, but when they went for the golden calf, the Egel, everything was reduced, and all that remained was the one aspect, this small aleph. Now this 1 to 1,000 is a very important number, a numerology. It's also echoed in the word El Shaddai. El Shaddai, which is the name from Yesod, is under normative gematria 345 and relates to Moses. Mem Shin He 345. And fully fully spelt out. El Shaddai is El 185 and Shaddai 185 and Shaddai 814. And so the two together come out to be 999. Plus this one of the what could be called a teruma, any flick, any seed from the whole pot, but of the one specific of the animal sacrifices, say, that are found in Vayikra, and obviously has to do with the animal soul and the animal aspect of man. This one added to the 999 also gives 1,000. So this large aleph, which quite frankly could be considered Hashem, which are the same letters as Moshe, and 345, added together, you see. So the Elohim has one little flick. So when you give teruma, you also are showing that one flick. And when you do the animal sacrifices, you're plugging into the one little aspect within the Yud-Heh-Vav-Heh name for your Elohim name, for your behemoths. And so this is a very deep issue here, you see. Because even in every life, physical life, there's a spark. You know? That spark is the real thing. That small aleph, that's the real thing. That's the small, still voice. It's not the loud. It's the 1 in 1,000. This is very important to me because, as you know, I think there are two gods. There's the Elohim and there's a Yud-Heh-Vav-Heh. But in this Vayikra, and as I just explicated, there's a spark, a small aleph, a 1 in 1,000, that's found in the Elohim. So even when you are in the first chapter of Genesis, in Bereshis, and the first 6 days of the week, and everything is with Elohim, Elohim, there is 1/1000th there, one spark. And maybe even I'll refer it as the lighting of a match. That is the Yud-Kei Vav-Kei that's found within the Elohim. This is a very deep aspect here, because we could call that Yud-Kei Vav-Kei a 26, a Yud, a Vav, and a Yud, which could be written as an Aleph. So when we look at the Aleph itself as being Hashem, and the Aleph relates more to Yud, Hey, Vav, Hey than it does to Elohim to begin with, you find that the Elohim name starts off with a Aleph. So this Aleph, which is sometimes signifies Yud Hey Vav Hey as 26, is found within the Elohim, and as its first letter, as its Kedusha, and the other letters are its Din. So in a certain sense, Yud Hey Vav Hey forms the Aleph in the Elohim. And so in a certain sense, Yud Hey Vav Hey, as its internal secret, is still involved in the physical world in this way. Masked. The masked man. The Purim feast. Secret. The costumed. So even in this is why when I was out in the park this morning watching people walk by, I'm saying that they only have animal souls, but they have a spark. Even the non-Jews have this spark, this 1 in 1,000. Can you relate to that spark? And that's the answer is yes. So everybody has this spark. And I'm going to be continuing on this because, there are two, as you know, there are two gods. And obviously these gods are related. And the spiritual aspect is Yud Hey Vav Hey, the uniquely Jewish spiritual aspect. And Yud Hey Vav Hey forms into this Aleph, this small Aleph, which is focused in Vayikra. Because, the way you start Torah is by Vayikra. Most people start teaching Torah on the third book, on Vayikra. So the first word the student is learning as a child is Vayikra with the small Aleph. And so even within the physical world, we still see the spiritual world. And that spiritual world talks to us in a small, still voice. And there's a beautiful thing. We'll go on from here.